Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how we all doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget hit that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. I had one of the best weekends I've ever had covering the sport of boxing, ever. Bear in mind, your boys covered everything. I've covered AJ fights, Canelo fights, Bivol fights, Golovkin fights, Garcia Tank. I've covered the lot. But this weekend just gone, covering the Haringey Box Cup, phenomenal. Honestly, phenomenal. You know what it is, yeah? I sometimes work with a guy called Charlie Baker, comedian. We work together on Talk Sport, and he is a big fan of non-league football. Like, he's had enough of Premier League football. All the money swirling around, all the disconnect with the players. And this was what this was like. It was pure. It was pure. It was people doing it just for the love of it. Like, all the workers there were volunteers. No one's getting paid. People giving up 3 days, 12 hours a day, just to support these kids that just want to lace up the gloves and give it a go. And honestly, I loved it. There was some talent on the show as well. Some absolute talent. Like, you know, you're watching future British, European, maybe even world champions. Honestly, it was fantastic. And it was so good that DAZN got involved, because there are 5 rings and DAZN had a ring with all like DAZN sort of covering around the ring. And everyone you could see wanted to fight in that ring. And the crowds around that ring was just, honestly, fantastic. Really enjoyed it. It was so good as well to see some pros there. Jordan Thompson came by. Caroline Dubois came by, obviously supporting their former clubs. Tunde Ajayi was there. Bunsey, who's always there, was there as well. We had a little good conversation about it. But it is now Europe's largest boxing contest. So it's actually more competitors than the European Championships, which blew my mind. Honestly, even saying it doesn't make sense, but that's what they said. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Well done to everyone. So many people there that watched the channel that came up to me and said, Ade, I didn't agree with you on that, but it was good. We're having good conversations, you know, weren't shouting and screaming at each other, good little debates. And I thought this is what I needed. You know, like, sometimes professional boxing can be so, you get disillusioned, like you get lost in all the talk about pay-per-view buys and fucking ticket sales and money. Who's the A side? Who's the B side? Is this fight ever going to happen? And then you go there and it's just like pure. That's the best way to describe it. Just pure. No crap. And honestly, we were there for 3 days and I loved every single day. Congratulations to Ken and Terry that put on the event, and everyone that works behind the scenes, Brian, just the whole lot. I don't remember all their names, but just all of them. And well done to all the fighters as well. Because again, no doubt in my mind, we're going to, I would have seen, some future world champions. All right, enough of that. Let's talk some boxing. Andre Ward wants to see Tyson Fury defend title, then consider Jones or Ngannou. So many people ask me questions about Fury. Like, I got a few interviews yesterday. Ade, what do you think about Tyson Fury? And again, I said this on the video that we recently done. Maybe I come across too harsh on him, but when you're the top dog, set an example, man. Like, fight. Do you know what I mean? And look, again, this goes back to what I was talking about, right? I mean, there's so much crap in making these big fights that they just don't fight. They just don't fight, which is a shame. Because look, boxing's been great this year, so let me not pretend that I'm too disillusioned with the sport, because it's been very, very good. But the marquee division is the heavyweight division. Like, all of you, well, maybe not so many of you now, but for me, I grew up on Mike Tyson. That's what I grew up with. And that was it. All I cared about was the heavyweight division. Yes, Sugar Ray Leonards were around, and then you sort of fast forward a few more years to Roy Jones Jr.'s, to Bernard Hopkins and Oscars and Floyd's. But I grew up on Mike. That's it. It's the marquee division. And that belt, the WBC belt, Tyson Fury's got that belt. Fight. Just fight, please. And look, I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. I mean, back in the day, you know, it's not like Lennox Lewis is fighting 4 or 5 times a year, but you're getting 3. You're at least getting 2. Now we're not getting 1. Now we're not getting 1. Regis Prograde, we definitely have to go back to the gym and work on some things. Yeah, someone asked me, Ade, what did you think of Regis's performance? And I was like, that's it. That's the best way to describe it. Wasn't great. It didn't look like he just... It didn't look like he got going. It didn't look like he got going. His style I don't know, almost it feels like his style is one where he has to be perfect or it looks a bit all over the place. And I felt like he just looked a bit ragged. I don't know if it was the pressure fighting back home. I'm not quite sure. I mean, he's been talking a lot of smack in the lead up to it. That I want to fight this person, that person, this person. So maybe all a bit of a pressure. Also, all the pressure got to him just a little bit. But look, he's still the champion. The scorecards are all over the place. I haven't done a sit down where I've kind of worked it all out and, you know, can tell you what I thought the scorecard was. I'm not going to do that. Can't be asked. But look, we'll see. Maybe that will open himself up to fighting one of the top dogs, because you know what normally happens. You know, one of the top dogs watches that and thinks, well, I can beat Prograis. Give me that fight now. So maybe that little sign of decline in that fight opens the door to some of the other top dogs stepping up. I saw that he did a FaceTime with Devin Haney after. Bill Haney gave him the phone and it was him and Devin talking. Again, you got Jack Catchweight here. It's an easy fight to make. It's an easy. Matthias, I don't know if... I don't think anyone's ducking Matthias. Sometimes it does come down to pounds and pence. If the money's not there for that fight, you're probably not going to take it. So maybe you do a Jack Catchweight fight in the UK. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. I read, or we mentioned this the other day, Errol Spence. We give 3% to these sanctioning organizations. What are they doing with it? This is so easy for someone like Mauricio Sulaiman, because he's the biggest name, isn't he? He's the one that's more vocal than all of them, to come out and say, okay, this is what we do with the 3%. That's it's easy. Let him, like, if I'm Mauricio Sulaiman and one of the big boys of boxing is saying this, basically calling you out for what you do with the money, say it. Okay, this is what we do with the 3%. We support boxing in these communities. We help do this. We support fighters when they retire. Say what you do. The latter is what I would love them to say. Oh, a bit of everything, but the latter is what always concerns me about boxing. I'm always concerned about when a fighter retires, where's the support then? You know, I'd almost like them to take, and I don't know if this happens, 5% from a fighter's purse, and then almost like a pension, and then give it to them at the end of their career. As soon as you say, I'm retired, give that lump sum. Because you always see fighters wanting to come back and have one more because the money's run dry. And that would be nice, but who knows. Wilder's trainer names Andy Ruiz as potential opponent before Joshua. I doubt it. I honestly, it's got to the stage now where I doubt that AJ or Wilder are going to have a fight before they fight. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I actually saw one of Dillian White's guys yesterday, and we're having a little chat, and I'm not going to say exactly the number, but they are miles off. His words, not mine, in terms of what Eddie or 258 have offered Dillian White and what Dillian White wants. Miles off. Can they bridge that gap in a week? Because that's kind of what we need. That fight needs to be announced by the end of the week. If they're looking at August 12th as the date, they can maybe move it a week to August 19th. I'm not quite sure if they're a clash on that day or if something's happened at the O2 Arena that day. But can they bridge that gap? Not quite sure. And in saying that, back to Wilder, can Wilder really get to the negotiating table with Ruiz and make a fight happen in the next 7 weeks? Because I doubt Wilder's going to want to fight in September, then fight AJ in December. That means you're just basically going straight into a fight camp after a fight. And yeah, so Wilder AJ, for those of you that are saying Wilder smashes AJ, okay, fair dues. But Wilder knows he needs a camp for AJ, as does AJ for Wilder. So it's getting to the stage now where I feel like both of them might sit it out, which is a bit of a disgrace. Let's quickly talk Canelo. I saw something yesterday, and it was trending a bit, wasn't it? That Badou Jack has said that, what did he say? He said that Canelo wanted him to come down 20 pounds from the cruiserweight limit. So Canelo wanted him to basically weigh in at 180 and then put a rehydration cap in the fight as well. So that fight ain't happening. There's a lot of talk about Canelo versus Badou Jack in the Middle East. Canelo bidding to become a 5-weight world champion. And look, anything over 175 is cruiserweight. I mean, that's what it is. But, I mean, come on, man. Badou Jack must have weighed nearly 200 pounds for his fight against Makabu. You can't tell him to come down to 180. Yes, he might have been a 168-pound fighter before, but that was before. This guy's a big guy. I've been at his last, not this fight, not the fight against Makabu, the fight before. I was there. He's a big guy. I've seen him up close He's a big guy. I was sitting ringside with him for Floyd Mayweather's exhibition fight against Deji in Dubai. He's a big guy. That guy ain't getting down to no 180. And if he does, he's a dead man walking. So, yeah, it's silly. It's silly. And I'm happy that Badou Jack, because Badou Jack would have been offered good money, maybe a career high payday. I'm happy he's like, fuck that. I ain't doing that. Like, that don't work for me. You know, you're not going to try and become a cruiserweight champion by draining me. It doesn't work. So I guess with Canelo now, you move on. You move on to maybe the other name that's been spoken about. Look, ultimately, it's got to a stage for me with Canelo where you have to get back to the table with Bivol. You have to get back to the table with Bivol. I'm not too big a fan of the Jermall Charlo fight just because Jermall's been out of the ring for 2 years. Like, if Jermall was going to have one, you know, and then, you know, and look good in that one, and he's not looked good for a while, you know, by the way, Jermall, but if he was to have one, then Canelo, okay, fair. But Canelo beating Jermall, and I think Canelo would beat him. Bear in mind, Jermall has to go up to 168. Canelo's going to get no props for it. People are going to say things like, well, he's been out the ring for 2 years. So for me, the only two, Bivol and Benavidez. Those are the two. That's it. That's the two. The get back against Bivol and the Benavidez, because everyone's saying Benavidez can beat Canelo. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people. So if you're Canelo, those are the two you go back to the table with and you start negotiations again. It shouldn't... At this stage of Canelo's career, like every time we do these boxing money lists, Canelo is #1 by some distance. At this stage of Canelo's career, it shouldn't really be about that. He's okay. The fucking bailiffs are not knocking on his door. Like, sorry, you owe us. He's okay. This guy must have $500 million in the account. He must have. There or thereabouts. He's been doing this at a high level, making good money for a long time. Pay Bivol what Bivol wants. Bivol beat you. And you said you want that fight. Don't try and lowball Bivol. And that's kind of what it seems like is going on. Look, I'm not privy to the conversations, although you know who I'm repping. I'm not privy. But you can't give Bivol... Like, I get it. Canelo's the A side in this. I get it. Again, going back to my fucking Haringey Box Cup. Pure. But I get it. Canelo's the A side. But surely that gap between the money, between you and Bivol starting to, you know, it's getting a bit closer. No? You know, I get... Bivol doesn't do the tickets. Although, you know, when I was in Abu Dhabi for Bivol, Gilberto Ramirez, he'd done some tickets. But Bivol doesn't do the tickets. I get it. But he beat you. He beat you and you want get back. Bivol doesn't want it. Bivol's okay. Bivol will move on. You want it. Pay him. If not Bivol, Benavidez. But it's clearly not going to be Badou Jack anymore. I don't think it should be Jermall Charlo. I mean, is he really going to go for an Edgar Berlanga or Jaime Munguia? I mean, Berlanga fights this weekend. Is he going to go for Berlanga? Berlanga beats Quigley? Not sure. Not sure. But look, we know it's not going to be Badou Jack. I mean, 180 and a rehydration cap is just, as these young kids will say, that's cap. That's cap. That's what these young kids say. Don't make any sense. That's just a case of that's Badou Jack in name only, because Badou Jack physically won't be in that ring. That's crazy. All right, anything else? Timothy Bradley on Lopez's win over Taylor. It was a fantastic performance. He was back to the old Tio. Yeah, it was good. Very, very good. I mean, we don't really need to talk about this anymore. We spoke about this at length on a few videos. Just a really good performance, and the kind of performance where, I mean, again, there's this retirement talk, and he has vacated his belt, to be fair to him. Look, he's vacated, but this is now a case of someone in his ear saying, look, dude, your stock right now is fucking as high as it's ever been. Like, it's higher than it was against Loma. Your stock is really high. And not just that, but in and around your weight class, money fights. 147, couple of money fights. Wrong time to retire. This man is causing waves. Waves. Tim Tszyu, who demolished Campo in one round. Mate, sorry, Carlos Ocampo, apologies. Yeah, he's a problem for Jermall Charlo. He's a problem. And this is a proper, you know, like someone's earned their #1 contender spot. This is like a guy that earned it, not sitting around waiting. You know, because he can. After the Tony Harrison win, it's like, okay, I've done what I needed to do. Jermall, where are you? We'll wait for you. No, I want to fight. I want to continue to fight, and I love it. This is a guy that's clearly stepped out of his father's shadow now, the great Costazu. I can't wait for this fight. I think this fight's going to be really good between him and Charlo. And I was watching Charlo against Brian Castano, where the first fight, where Charlo's on the ropes and he's taking shots. If he sleeps on the ropes like that with Zoo, boy, oh boy, we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun. All right, anything else? Adam Azim wants Kambosos. He's the perfect fight for me. I definitely stop him. Steady, young man. Steady, young man. Steady. What have you done to say you want Kambosos? I get it. I like the call out, but steady. I definitely stopped Kambosos. Well, who stopped him? You stopped Kambosos because he's been stopped by who? This guy's been in there with Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney. You're good. You're not ready for that smoke yet. You're not ready. I mean, I like Kambosos. Kambosos is one of the top lightweights out there. You're not ready for that smoke. Jesus Christ, man. I get it. I get it. You know, you got a big ego. I understand, but not yet. Not yet. But, you know, I think the call out's good, but not yet. All right, let's quickly jump on Benson's Twitter page and see. This is interesting. Conor Ben and Josh Taylor exchanging words on Instagram. Conor Ben said, "I'd happily give you your third beating on the spin. Don't play with me." To which Josh Taylor replied, "Must be the roid rage kicking in, or is it the pregnancy hormones?" Okay, that's how you start it, man. Look, you know, that's how you gauge if there's any interest in the fight. You look at that and you just gauge what there is. And maybe there is interest. I mean, Josh clearly is going to go up to 147. It's a good fight domestically. We'll see. We'll see. Someone did ask me about Conor Ben, Chris Eubank, and I did say to them yesterday that in order for that fight to kind of get off the ground, Conor does need to sit down with UKAD and British Boxing Board of Control and sort that out before he even moves on with a fight. Thought I'd just clarify that. Did you see the Ramla Ali knockout? Man, that left hook, geez. Look, she wouldn't have got up anyway, and the fight should have been called. The fight should have been waived as soon as she got put down, but I thought the ref's count was ridiculously fast. It was like, fuck, I've not waived it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That fight over. Which was crazy, honestly, which was crazy. All right, guys, yes, we are done. We will do videos every single day because that's what we do. Peace and love.